Hey, Rob, how's it going?
What's up?
Happy Memorial Day weekend, everybody. All right, Rob, I have a question for you.
All right.
I'm going to start a poll because last time it was a huge success. Our conversion rate beat your conversion rate. So we're starting it. Now, this is the question I was thinking of. We only can have 4 answers. So whatever we ask, there can only be 4. So I was thinking, what is your favorite of the following labels? And then go with 4 popular jazz labels like in the 50s or something, just something everybody has. So I had the 4 that popped in my head, but I wanted to ask you, what 4 labels would you put?
Well, Blue Note.
Yes, Blue Note for sure.
Impulse.
Okay, yes.
Blue Note, Impulse. From the heyday, if we're talking heyday of 60s jazz.
Yes,
I
or
guess
50s too.
You could go Argo, Cadet.
Oh, no, I didn't pick Argo. I picked Prestige. What about Prestige?
Well, Prestige, yes. Prestige.
Okay, so now we only have one more slot. So we have Blue Note, Prestige, Impulse. The 4th one I picked, I'll just tell you which I said Riverside.
Okay.
Now that's the one I feel like is probably the one you could swap out.
How late did Riverside put out records till?
At least till like 65, because I think they sold to Orpheum in 66 or something, and I think they were pretty active up until then.
Yeah.
But if it's not Riverside, you're saying maybe Argo?
Well,
maybe.
When they turned to Cadet, they were putting stuff out in the late 60s.
Yeah, for sure. They had a lot of good stuff.
All throughout the whole decade.
Or we could do other too. We could do other. We could say Blue Note, Impulse, Prestige, or other.
You know what you're going to get?
What?
There's no science. There's nothing scientific about it.
All right, I'll put Riverside.
You know what? This is, or you could put this is a lame poll. There's the 4th choice.
Dave, I'm making a poll, and it's going to. I can only put 4 answers in. So the question is, what is your favorite of the following labels? So I was going to put Blue Note, Prestige, Impulse, and the 4th one I was going to pick was Riverside. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going with
the classic,
50s, 60s, Riverside would be the 4th. I mean,
and the 5th I would say would be the Norgrand stuff, all the Norman Grand stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's or Savoy or something like that.
Ooh, that's a good one.
He went on to, because he dragged everyone with him to where he went.
Oh, look, we got. Okay, sorry, I didn't have the chat up here. So we have Bethlehem.
Bethlehem kind of petered out. They did put out records in the late 60s, but they petered out, right?
Yeah, you can't. There's a lot of good Savoy stuff that I like, but Riverside trumps it as far as like
ECM.
Bigger catalog.
ECM didn't start until.
I think it would be weird to put. I would put ECM with like other labels if I were going to group them.
Yeah, you put that with like Enya and.
Oh, Pacific and Contemporary. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Contemporary is a good one.
You're going to have, you know what? Actually, I teach people to make polls in one of my classes. There's here's what you could do, Mike. There is a website called pollmaker.com, and you can put almost all the choices.
Oh, all right. Well, I have this set up. I'm just going to let this run, but in the future, I will do that, Rob.
Riverside's the most logical.
Pollmaker.com, you can add more than 4.
Okay.
I think Riverside's the most logical 4th one.
All right, we're going to do Riverside, but I appreciate everybody's input, and I think the West Coast labels I definitely could be added. So we're going to start the poll, and we'll check in a little bit. Hey, Brandon. The other thing, just a quick plug for myself. So I started a Substack. There's a link in the description if you want to check it out. I'm doing a review of this free jazz record. It's called First Feeding. It's the Ensemble Muntu. So look at that. I'm probably going to drop it over the weekend. But it's a cool backstory, and it's really kind of interesting free jazz. So definitely recommend it. So if you want to get notified, click that link in the description. All right.
Was that a Connecticut or Jersey find?
I bought this on Discogs.
Oh, really? Okay, I thought you found that in the shop.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of something else.
But yeah. Oh, I have a bunch to talk about, but what are you guys up to?
Oh, I just have a very small amount of records. I actually have some new stuff.
Nice.
Very cool.
And yeah, cool. And it's cool. 3 records, all cool.
All right. If you want to wait to show them?
I can show them now. It doesn't matter.
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, I finally got this.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
The
Yeah.
Tone Poet, which sounds phenomenal.
Very nice.
And I have a 70s Black Bee. This sounds better. And I love having the photos are really good.
Yeah. Very nice.
Especially the one of Cecil McBee is really pretty awesome.
I didn't realize he turned 90 this past week, right?
I'm not sure.
Who? Moncure or
No,
McBee?
Cecil Moncour's no longer with us. Cecil McBee. I think
Is
turned
he 90? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we need
He
to get him
looks
back
so
on.
young on this record. I figured he was like,
still playing, right? With the
Yeah.
yeah,
with
that's
the leaders
amazing.
or the whatever they're called.
Because on this photo, he looks like he's 20. So
There's a saying, but I won't say it.
he must be 30.
All right, there is quickly, there is a sale on UDiscover. It's 30% off. I think most everything there. So if you're looking to buy anything.
Yeah, I have a Liberty pressing of that, but it's not Van Gelder, so I think I might get that to compare.
Yeah, I'm generally great center. Plus, you get the photos. You know,
I agree.
for $40 or 30. What is it? $37. You can't go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
This is really cool.
Yeah.
Barry Altschul. It is Sam Rivers. Sam Rivers is on 3 tracks. George Lewis on trombone. Mulal Richard Abrams on piano. Dave Holland on bass. And of course, Barry Altschul on drums. It's a super fun record. There's one record that's just, there's one track where it's just drums. And then there's one track that's just a trio, piano, a bass, and drums. But Sam Rivers and George Lewis are on most of this. And it's really cool. And it's super, it does get out there a little bit, but it's kind of done in a really fun way. I don't know how to describe it, in the sense that like there's sort of like, it's sort of a little bit free jazz, but you can hear like elements of Dixieland, and it's just cool. There's the, it's kind of like has that historical mood to it at the same time of being like kind of out there, kind of. Mingus does that, but this is a little bit more out there, but it's really good.
We were talking about that with the David Murray Octet on some of those records. They do something like that.
David Murray and Threadgill does that.
Threadgill, yes.
Yeah.
That's good comparison.
The whimsy. I call it the whimsy stuff.
Yeah, it's whimsical, but it's like it's a little out there, but then all of a sudden you hear it's almost like historical appreciation of the history of jazz kind of coming into this sort of free avant stuff and I love when that happens, and this record definitely has that happening.
So I have Barry Ashwell on Conference of the Birds. He plays percussion there, and then he's on a number of the Paul Bley.
That's Muse, right? I have that record. It's Muse, right?
No, it's ECM. Conference of
no,
the Birds
the one
is ECM.
No, the one you just showed.
Oh, this is Muse. Yes.
Okay.
I think he has several Muse records, so I have a couple of them. The Barry.
This was hard to resist. It
Yeah.
may have been a little bit more than it was $20, but it's never
That's
been
not bad.
played.
It goes between $20 and $40.
Yeah, this one's never been played. It was
Yeah.
like so minty. It was insane. So
I mean,
grabbed it.
the lineup of that is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, and for like a barely played copy, it was.
Hey,
did I show this last time?
I don't know.
I'm not
It's
sure.
pretty cool too, and this is whimsical in a lot of ways. But it's I think it's 81.
Is that Enja?
Yeah,
I have an Enja to show.
1981. So here's the band. It is Clifford Jordan on sax, Waldron on piano, Cecil McBee on bass, and Dennis Richmond on drums.
Yeah.
It's very good. I don't know if I'd put it up there with some of the other Enja stuff. It's not as great as Up Pop the Devil or One-Upmanship, but it's still very good and definitely worth picking up.
I've been looking for that Up Pop the Devil record forever.
That one's great. And do you have One-Upmanship with Steve Lacy?
No, I don't have either of those. I've only put hands on the Devil record once at a convention, and he wanted $80 with a massive saw cut.
What?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, and it wasn't in the vinyl wasn't even VG plus. It was like VG at best.
That's stupid.
Yeah, it was 80.
It's
I was
like a $35 record at best.
Yeah,
$80 is.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, you're smart not to do it.
That seems excessive. I know people like
these conventions. They price in the negotiation, but that was even well over that.
That was so far over the top. You'd be like, "Yeah, I'll give you half."
Yeah,
not even that.
I'm pretty sure I told him I'll give you $30 for this, and he was like, "Nah."
But it's one thing to have like a rare record that goes for a few hundred, and you put it above that. But like for an Enja that goes for like $30, to price it at 80 is like, it makes me feel like you don't know how to price.
Well,
and here's my CD minute. This is a really cool. I had this in college. It's Poncho Sanchez with Freddie Hubbard.
Oh, cool.
And Hubbard's only on like 3 or 4 tracks, but he really Hubbard, when he wants to, can totally do the Latin trumpet. Like he does it really well. Because he's just so talented. But this is really cool if you want to hear just some good salsa. It's a really good record. Or CD. It's a really good CD.
So it's Poncho Sanchez. What's the title?
Cambios, which means songs.
Okay, cool.
And it's got a ton of dudes that I know a couple of them. My dad would probably know all of them. Tony Banda is on bass. He's pretty famous. Art Velasco, who's also pretty famous, is on trombone. Jose Rodriguez is on. What was he on? He's on bongos. So obviously,
cool.
Poncho is on congas.
So
it's great.
Yeah, that looks awesome. Since you showed that Enja with Danny Richmond, I picked this up yesterday for $6. Speaking of Enja pricing, this is Benny Wallace, who's tenor sax player, and they're doing all Monk songs. So you have Benny Wallace on tenor, Jimmy Nepper on trombone, Eddie Gomez piano, and then Danny Richmond. I'm sorry, Eddie Gomez bass, Danny Richmond drums. And they do Skippy, Ask Me Now, Evidence, Roundabout Midnight, Straight No Chaser, Prelude, Ugly Betty, and Variations on a Theme.
Mhm.
And it's good. I mean, it's very good.
Yeah, I have that one.
For
I like
$6, I mean, this is pretty killer. Those are the guys. But yeah, it's interesting to hear. They're all talented players, and it's interesting just to hear them play Monk, right? Like, it's just, I know like the Monk style and what they do with it, and what Benny does on the tenor sax, pretty fantastic. I've had some Benny Wallace stuff in the past, but I ended up kind of passing it along. But this one I'm definitely keeping.
He has another one on Ninja that I really like. I'll see if I can go find it. I can find it. It's in
Okay.
Nubby. That I think is really great.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I have a Roku that makes my TV turn on all of a sudden. So
you got stuff programmed, waiting to watch.
I don't know. It just turns on. It's weird.
So, all right, let's check in with the poll. This is a good moment. We're going to take a beat, check in. So the poll's been live for, over 10 minutes. Let me pull it up here. Okay, we have 41 votes. Blue Note is in the lead with 51%. Impulse is number 2, which is pretty interesting, with 23%. Prestige 16, and Riverside 9. So that's what we're seeing so far.
All right,
Rob,
so I did pull this record here just because I brought up that guy that tried to sell me the Waldron for $80. There was another convention. He was in a different spot. He was in the back. So the first time he was there, and he had this in his jazz, and just in his normal jazz bins for $35. This is Lloyd McNeil with Marshall Hawkins.
Oh wow!
It's numbered 778. I think there were only 1,000 pressed of this.
Holy smokes!
So that seems like a really good deal.
Yeah, it's an incredible deal because I don't think this guy knows what he's got. You know what I'm saying?
So like, the same guy,
probably the biggest steal I've ever had at a convention in my life is this record.
Okay.
I couldn't get out of there fast enough.
That's hilarious.
What does that normally go for?
On the
right here, Rob. Take a look.
Suite,
over 100, I think.
So median here says 250. Let's look at past sales.
Yeah.
All right. So we have one sold this year, VG Plus for $375. One sold in 2023 for $360. So if it's in nice condition, it can easily, sell for mid 300s.
Now, I tried to talk him down on this one just to play stupid myself.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Nice. Yes.
I was like, dude, would you take $20 for it? He goes, no, I can't do that.
Oh.
That's all he said was, no, I can't do that. And I said, okay, I suppose I'll pay 35.
No, you did him a favor.
And I showed Steve that works at Repo on the way out, because Repo's rarely at the convention, but he happened to be there that day. And I showed him and I told him what I paid, and he was so pissed that he didn't go through that box during dealer hour because he would have bought it.
Yeah. Wow. Very nice.
Yeah.
So is that a gatefold? What's the deal with it? Is it?
No, it's not a gatefold. But here's the back cover.
When did it come out? 70s?
Oh shit.
It came out 69.
69. Okay, yeah.
I have the one. I got the one Lloyd McNeil record from Billy, the one where he's standing on the cover.
There's that Asha label.
Yeah. Really nice.
Yeah, this is the only one I've found. There's reissues of all these records now out they're kind of expensive for reissues, so I've avoided them. Yeah, it's a mono copy.
Wow, congrats, man! That is incredible.
That was I've had this for years. That was one of the first conventions I went to in Charlotte.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yep. So that got lucky on that one, but he's prices are gone nuts now.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll tell you, I had an eventful week this week. So on Tuesday night, Chad Casson was in town. From what I understand, he was working on the next HQURs, which I heard are Rock Records. And Bernie Grubman, I think, is mastering them. So he got together with several audio hi-fi shops. And on Tuesday at Commonwealth, which is in downtown LA, that was the first one I knew about. So Jim and I went down to that, and we were there for 2 hours, but we had to leave early, and he was chatting with everyone. So before he got his demo started, we were there 2 hours. But we walked in early, and Jim walked ahead and saw him, and I said something to Jim, and Chad goes, "I know that voice." So I went around the corner, and he goes, "Wow, you're taller than I thought." And he was there with two of his guys. One is his kind of fixer guy, like legal and kind of secures the rights to records, and the other was his publicist person. So I chatted with Chad for a while, and both the other guys, and it was a good evening, and he was nice and pleasant. And I ran into a few other people I knew, and we left. And I had heard from people after we left, there was another event next door to Common Wave, and a drunk woman got into the event and kind of caused a minor disruption. And Chad was on his feet. He dealt with it well with the woman. So the next two events he did actually near me. Probably the highest end audio store in all of LA is this one called the Audio Salon, and it's here in Santa Monica. But I couldn't go. I was teaching. But last night my class ended a little early, and the event started at 6:30. But I just went and got there 7:30 ish, and it hadn't really even started yet. And the guy Meyer, who owns the Audio Salon, is an awesome dude, and he had food, tacos, and drinks, and it was a great atmosphere. It's a smaller place. It's not as elaborate as the Common Wave. So I got there early, and Fremer was there. I saw Fremer. I took pictures and did some posting, and Chad was there. In the setup, I have some pictures, and is these Wilsons. The other guy there is Don from RTI. So he introduced Chad.
And that's Kevin Gray, right?
No, that's Don from RTI. RTI guy. And they're like really good friends. So he kind of introduced him. There's Meyer. This is a good video. Michael Fremer did this video. So
I dropped the link to the video in the description if you want to check it out.
Yeah, he did all the demoing on this setup. So Meyer became friends with this dude who's now creating his own amps in Japan. And he came over, and everything was powered through this gorgeous looking amp. It's the body is done by Japanese artisans. Yeah, that's it. That thing is killer. The dude builds them in his house. So most of the components are put together. He assembles everything in his house. He says when he's quick, he can do like 3 a month. But this thing powered everything awesomely. So there's Meyer, who owns it, and there's Chad and Don. So they demoed everything. And see that little case in front of the Don guy? Chad, they were full of test pressings that Chad used to demo. They did do one reel-to-reel tape, but that's the reel-to-reel machine there.
Yeah.
But Chad kept pointing out. So the first album he demoed was an album I kind of just said, whatever, is the Miles Davis Birth of the Blue. Yeah, and I said after he demoed it, look, if you've never listened to a pair of those Wilsons, then you've never heard music. This is I swear to God. So Danny Kaye had them, and that was my first experience, and it floored me. I've gone to the Audio Salon a couple times. I'm telling you, even at the lowest of volumes, the detail on those speakers is crazy. So after listening to, if you go to the Discord, I posted some stuff. The Miles Davis, I'm going to buy that. It just sounds so good. He did demo some stuff that hasn't been released. He owns a church in Salina where he for 21 years did live performances. He says they're planning to release those live performances. What he did demo was Tony Joe White, which is one of his favorite performers. And one of the live performances, he played 2 songs, and that sounded insane. So they did 2 parts. So most of it was filled, and then it broke, and a lot of people left. And for about 45 minutes, there were 6 of us in there with Chad playing stuff, and we were chatting with him. He said he played 4 things, and he asked each one of us, which one did you like the best? And I said Louis Armstrong, King Oliver.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
telling you,
Nice.
it was like, and I posted a clip of it. It was like Louis Armstrong was standing in front of me.
Yeah, you were talking about that in the chat.
That's the only way I can tell you guys. It's like the things that sound the best are the pared down stuff, but everything sounds awesome.
So was that did he play the 45 or the full record? The
He
cut
played
from the
most
full
of the demos were off of 45s. He played Dream with Dean. That sounded awesome.
Oh,
He
cool.
played, so he said Wishbone Ash. He played a few of the 75s. He said Wishbone Ash was just a title that people had asked about. He decided to do it. And that's like their number 2 seller behind the Miles. That Wishbone Ash 75th. And I really don't know them, but that sounded awesome. So, and then Chad, he did a little thing where someone had to guess the name, but he gave us all these shirts, which were only, he had to get permission for these shirts. But these are just promo shirts. They were only done as promos.
Shit.
Yeah. So really nice of him to give out these shirts.
Yeah.
Really cool. But I mean, he won me both nights. He was very personable and he won me over. There was no disdain. There was no drama. But I swear to God, the ghost of Louis Armstrong was in that room. It was crazy.
I would have loved to heard the King Oliver stuff.
Yeah, I have that King Oliver one.
Okay, so the last thing they played, and I'm going to buy this too. They did a reel, because Chad makes reels, of the Hugh Masekela Hope, which is a live album they did at the Blues Alley in DC. And he's had that for years. That thing, so the last song on that album is just scary how good that is. It blows your mind. So
very cool.
You know,
very cool.
And then
that sounds awesome, man.
at both places, he had he played Marley. So he played HQUR Marley Exodus.
Yeah.
But you could buy both Exodus and then Rashomon, whatever. Yeah. So both of those were there. So again, I was on the I will say this, not to be negative, not to have something negative to say. The Marley did not. One song he played sounded really good, but on the same album, the other song didn't sound so great to me. It felt like Marley was buried in the back. So that was okay, but all the other stuff was just it floored you. It floored everybody. Yeah. Oh, okay. So he did play Mike Mel Torme, the Mel Torme album he did.
Oh, okay. That was I'm not too familiar with that.
Well, he says it's not the best.
Was there an audience that that wanted a certain kind of music at this thing, or was it whatever?
All these events were billed as come listen to Chad Pace selections from the acoustic sound or analog production.
Okay, it's just new stuff. The new stuff.
No. It was across the board. He played stuff that isn't even coming out. Okay. He doesn't have the legality to release it yet. So it was just him demoing stuff he had. He had a bag of tricks. Chad's bag of tricks. And then
did they use? So you said they did not use the tape machine?
No, they did. They played the Hugh Masekela.
Okay, all right. Cool.
I mean, and he played another one. They played another reel. I'm trying to remember. Look, the event was billed from 7 to 9:30. We were there past 11 listening.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great.
Yeah, it sounds fun. Very cool. Do they do events often? Do you think you'll be able to?
No, that's where the famous Fremer gum incident happened, at this place.
Okay.
But he asked me. Meyer asked me, maybe we can get him up here. This dude deals with people with endless bank accounts. So, but he says, look, I want to get younger people in here. So he was asking me about that. So, it's a great spot. When he have everything set up, you haven't heard anything like that.
Yeah.
It's interesting, Rob. The vinyl world is really a small one. Because, I mean, you had Fremer there at that event, and I bumped into him at WFMU, in New York. Well, if there's records, he's going to, or something to do with gear, he's going to be there.
Well, the Meyer agreed with me. Here's the point that I always tell people when all you see is old middle-aged white dudes. There has to be something different than a Victrola or a stupid cheap ass. There's a guy who's listen, you dude. Goodbye. Bye. Okay. So there has to be an entry. It can't be the Techniques 1200 because that thing's over $1,000. There has to be a $300 turntable that could get young people in here that is top of line. That is just, won't fuck up your records and is good.
Yeah, right now it's probably Audio Technica is about as good as you can get for that price.
Yeah, their copy of the 1200.
Yeah.
You can get out of Canada. There's Fluon. There's Fluon. What's that?
I have to fix something. I banned the wrong
person.
person.
God, you're banning people.
You're banning the wrong person.
All right, well, hold on. I'll show a record.
Hey, can we fix Rick's?
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. So, Rick's, we'll fix you. You might just be out for tonight, but we'll make sure that you're back.
Okay, I'm sorry, Rick's. It was the guy who was like, dude, don't bring up my name and where I work. That's bullshit, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah, let's respect everybody's boundaries here, and we just let's not share things like that. All right, so let me just get the invite for Carlos here. Just give me a second.
And I grabbed those Benny Wallaces too.
All right, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Why don't you jump in and show those, please?
Here's two more from Enja.
Oh yeah, yep. So that's a similar group, except instead of Klemper, you have Tommy Flanagan on piano, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and then this is just a trio, no piano, Eddie Gomez and Eddie Moore.
I'm noticing a theme with the cover images.
Yeah,
I've never seen that record.
Lots of garbage.
Yeah.
Lots of garbage.
Oh man, but they're cheap, and
these are probably like $8 to $10, I think.
That Monk one I got, it was very good. Like
this one is this is the one I like the best, which is the trio. So you've got tenor, bass, and drums.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, these are inexpensive and great.
All right, let me just show one quick one. So I was just listening to this before the stream. I just pulled it out because I haven't listened to it in a while. It's on Epic. It's Silver's Blue.
Oh yeah.
And it's like it's mono, so I think it's like 56, and it's got Hank Mobley, Doug Watkins, Donald Byrd. I mean, and the sound, and Art Taylor on drums, and the sound off the record is fucking awesome. So I don't think this is that expensive, but if you see it, and you're looking for an old Hank Mobley record, I mean, you got a killer band on here. So worth checking out for sure.
Yeah, and there's a reissue of it. Epic did a reissue in the 80s. So that's even cheaper.
The label, if I could just show it, is this Epic. I think this is the old Epic label, and it's Deep Groove. So a product of CBS. But really impressed, like when the horns come in, it sounds fantastic. And I noticed that it's a little bit more bluesy than the stuff they do on Blue Note. But they're still soloing and sounding incredible. So What's up, Joe?
Hey guys. Hey,
How's it going?
good. How are you guys?
Doing
Good.
well. Have you picked up anything recently? Or
I
what's
got a
going
few
on?
things. Yeah, I actually I was off work today, and I actually took a trip up to Montreal again. And I went to the O Trottoir, 033 tours. Found two things. One thing I know, Mike, you're gonna like because you've seen it before, but this one I've had on my radar. I saw the second record by this artist, and the second one is actually like really expensive. It's like 250, 300, but the original or the first record, which is this one, it's called Rebop.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Killer record, really great, like African meets like fusion meets funk, just really great one. And this is a pretty inexpensive one, again, especially compared to the second one. It's like 25, $30. It's on the Island Records label. So yeah.
How
I
do you
found
get up
out-
to Montreal? Through Plattsburgh?
No, I just go through the Thousand Islands.
You go through Thousand Islands? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I can go through. It would take probably an hour extra if I went all the way over to Plattsburgh and went up.
Okay.
You can also access it through like Messina. So if you go through like
Yeah.
kind of the mid Adirondack region, you can get there. But
Yeah.
again,
How long
that's
does it
even.
how long does it take you? You're near Fort Drum, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. How long does it take you to get up there?
It's about 3 hours and 15 minutes, 3 hours and 20 minutes. So
Each way?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, why I keep thinking it's shorter than that.
No, because
It's
it
up
takes
there.
about a half an hour to get to the border, and then it's about 2.5, almost 3 hours
Yeah.
just to get to Montreal.
Yeah.
But the reason why I went was for this one. And again, Mike, I know you and I actually have this record, and I found an original. I never thought I would, and
What do
so
you
I had
got?
to jump on it. And that's I found.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
Our meetings and our feelings, Michelle Portal. It was funny because I called them on Tuesday about it, and I always feel bad because it's like Quebec is like a French speaking country or French speaking province, and so I don't know. I always feel bad just like forcing them to have to speak English to me who doesn't speak French.
Speak
but
French. Do
I do
it.
not speak French, Mike. That's going to be even more offensive.
You can
So,
use just Google Translate it
yeah.
when you
I'm not over the phone. You're not going to
when you greet them.
Right,
I'm just
right.
saying. You have a
But
couple
no,
canned
so it was-
things.
So anyway, so I called them and I've dealt with them before on the phone in January when I went the first time, and so I said, like, I saw this on your website. I was wondering if you could hold it. I was gonna plan on coming on Friday of this week, and so she's like, yeah, what's the name of the record? And so I said it was like Michelle Portal. I can't remember what I said, but she typed it in quick and she's like, oh, I'm not seeing anything. And so I was like, oh well, I said it's like Michael, but it's like the French spelling of Michael. And so she types it in, and I literally said, because I know it, I took French in high school, so I was like it's like Michelle, and again, I don't have an accent, so. And then she says it, and I'm just like, yeah, that's exactly what I said, like, but it was whatever. So that wasn't that just was a little bit strange, but no, I was glad to find this really great condition. I brought some stuff to trade. I actually dealt with Kieran Needle Grooves, his friend Nathan, who he made a video with around beginning of COVID. So I got to deal with him. He was awesome to talk with for a little bit. I don't think any of you have seen this. Maybe Dave, you've seen this when we met in Rochester, but I have this like record box that I got from the Bop Shop last year. It's just kind of like this cool thing. It just has a handle or whatever. And so I brought records to trade, and I said, can I just leave the box on the side so I don't have to walk around with it? And they're like, sure. And I was walking around for like maybe an hour or so, and I see this older guy go back there, and he's like examining the box, and he's looking at it and stuff like that. And he sees it. I don't think you guys are gonna be able to see it, but there's like this original $5.19 price tag.
So you already inquired on buying it.
Whatever it was, and he's like, oh, is this for sale? And so I went back there and I said, oh no, it's actually mine. And he's like, oh, well, I saw this like $5.19 thing, and I thought, like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna jump on that. And then he asked me, he goes, is it for sale? I'm like, no, buddy, like Like, I'm not gonna just give you the box that I brought to bring my records home. And
It was a
Oh
nice
man.
box.
it was weird, but no, to be honest, if you're ever in Montreal, it's an incredible shop. Whether you like new, used, they have a really very expansive used section, used, new and used. It's kind of mixed, but it's nicely like they have a new area, and then next to it will be used, and it's all alphabetical. And then they've got a rarity section for all the genres. It's a phenomenal store. They've got a huge wall. Again, I didn't see anything this time that was on the wall, but it's a great shop.
I think it's Kieran's favorite.
Yeah.
If you were to ask him, he's been going there forever.
Yeah. He said he lived only like 20 minutes from there. So
Yeah. Now that Portal, that's going to be one of your better ones of the year, man. That's
Definitely.
top tier shit.
Yeah. It was.
I mean,
and I
musically, everything, rarity, the whole thing.
Yeah.
But the reissue of that is very good. I have
Yes.
that.
I
Is
was
it?
gonna say, because
That's good to know.
Mike was actually the one that kind of let me know about the reissue, and him and I bought it around the same time, like a year and a half ago.
I learned about it through Stunty, and I think Alex.
Okay.
Alex picked it up, and I think it was at auction, and somehow maybe it was mentioned on a stream or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I just knew it, and then I guess like a month later the reissue was announced. So
Yeah.
that's when I shared it with you.
Yeah. So and the reissue is great. I don't know. Again, it's been like a year and a half, so I don't know the availability. I bought mine on Amazon, and it was quick. It was like $30. So that's a great way to get it for not.
Yeah, I think I had it in my cart, and I got a notification it dropped to a certain price. That's how I got it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
okay.
How would you, Joe? How would you describe it, Michel Portal?
It's so his records
it'll melt your face.
This one is pretty free. It's not. I don't know. For me, it's definitely intense. And when I was thinking about buying, because I was like, am I going to make the trip all the way up there for a record that I already have? And like, it's an original, which for me is like sometimes worth it. But if the record itself is not really taking it to the next level, I'm not too sure about it. But I listened to it. It's really great. It heavily features him on saxophone. And it's just intense free jazz improvisation. I don't know though. Again, like I think you'd have to stream it to see if it's something that you would like. And that goes for anybody that maybe doesn't listen to a lot of freer type stuff. It's not. It's actually funny because when I was looking at the Discogs, kind of at the bottom of the page is like where all the reviews are. There was somebody that had reviewed, I think, the reissue that came out like 2 years ago, and they're like, well, this record is kind of similar to other European free jazz, like Peter Brötzmann, and I'm just like, it's not like Peter Brötzmann, like it's not. It's not like that.
No.
I will say it will make you uncomfortable, like Brötzmann.
Yeah.
So like that might be where they were saying.
Your face.
So like Mike is a good example of that. So by him saying that, like it's a different listen experience for him. For me, it's right what I like. So it's right in my wheelhouse. But
so was the exchange rate worked into your favor?
Yeah, it was. I think if I remember correctly, it was like $1 was like, or no, other way around. $1 was like 75 cents. So it was pretty good, 75 cents. So it worked out well. And I brought some stuff to trade, and I got it down to a more, I don't know, manageable price. So, and I actually did bring something else to trade, which probably would have cleared out me needing to even spend anything, but I decided to hold on to the record. So I did have to pay a bit, but the one thing I will say, and I actually messaged Dave, I messaged Dom, because, and maybe this is like where I'm from, not from a big city, and a lot of even the record stores I go to normally, but they have like, it's like a not like a 7% or 9% tax. That's like just Montreal, or Montreal. And then they have like a Quebec tax. It was like almost 15% tax So it was like almost $100 in tax added on. So it was crazy. But that's just
to the
Can you get that-
records.
yeah, yeah.
But you could submit that stuff and get it back, right? Because you're.
I was thinking, is that something that
I think
do?
typically,
Yes. Yeah, they get your
typically
taxes
you can
back.
get that.
Yes.
Okay.
Typically,
In some countries,
Is there a way to do that online?
No, in some countries at the store, just show your passport. They're gonna give you 10% back or whatever the tax was.
Okay.
Or whenever you're flying back at the airport at the customs, you fill out a form, show the receipts, and it goes back to your credit card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Do you know Felipe, do you know if you can do that like after the fact, or does it have to be
I think if you still have the receipts and everything, I think if check the Canadian,
okay.
how it works there, the tax, they usually call it they call it D-tax or something like this. Go search for that, you should find. Yeah.
Okay. I'll look into it.
Because I know that in Europe, that's how they do it. Usually as the customs at the airport, before you board, you just submit all the paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
In Japan, for example, you just show your passport.
Okay.
It depends, yeah.
I thought there was something like that, like where if you didn't live there, you weren't necessarily subject.
Yeah, dude. You know, because when you're at if you go to Niagara Falls and you buy anything at the duty free store,
Mm-hmm.
you're not paying tax.
Right.
Because they know you're taking that stuff there and going into the U.S.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I just got one other thing quick. I'll just show. This was the other. I got this. I saw this at the Philly record fair a few weeks ago at Vinyl Con, and I just passed on it because it was a little bit outside of what I was listening to at the time, but I almost immediately regretted it. So I was able to find a copy on Discogs, but
Oh yeah.
U-Roy, and this is Dread in a Babylon. It's like roots reggae. It's really great. Again, for me, like I don't have any other reggae records, but this had the really nice groove. His voice is great as well. So, and I remember seeing this. There was some Discogs article like a month ago that highlighted, I think like dub and like kind of where that subgenre of reggae had kind of come from. So, and this record was I think part of that article. So this was
that's not a cheap record. I had a beat up promo I sold for some money.
Yeah.
TR International, right, Joe?
The original from Jamaica is on there. This is the US one on Virgin.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So this is, I don't have the original has this killer cover of him. It's like a darker, it's almost like this like very saturated image.
Oh,
it's a killer image on the front.
Yeah, I don't think I have an original. I have mine's on TR International though.
Okay. Is yours?
This is a great one. Like if you're just getting into it, this is a great one to start with.
Yeah, and right for me that was a perfect. But that was So that's not a whole lot found. As I told you guys last week, my wife and I are preparing having a baby, so I'm not really. I was able to kind of get out today, which was more than what I kind of thought, but it was not as much. So
that's all right. You got to get a couple in there.
Congratulations, some variety, man.
Congratulations, Dad. Do you have a good pair of headphones?
I do. Yeah.
Hey, I have a nice little stack I would like to show. Some related to the chat. One of the chat events I went to.
Okay.
Is Common Wave. Common Wave had these two in stock sealed. So I picked up. These are the Chad 45 reissues.
Ooh,
I picked up this Dizzy Reese. That's awesome. And this is still, I haven't opened this up. The Walter Davis one, 45.
Nice.
Yeah. So there was another copy of this still there. So if you're in LA, go down to Common Wave. They have it there. This I got from Jim.
Oh yeah, man.
He can't handle this shit.
That's
no, that was intense as hell.
Yeah.
Is that the souffle continue?
Yeah. This will melt your face, Felipe.
No. That's different, Felipe.
You mean here's who put it out.
But look who cut the lacquer.
Yeah.
Kevin Gray. It melted his face.
It's from the original.
Is there corn in that forest?
Okay, this is the good pickup, Joe. This and Dave. This was off. This is
Oh
awesome.
yeah.
This
Anything
is
on
a
that
really-
label, dude.
Yeah, that
Willie Bang with featuring Frank Lowe. But here's the lineup. And this isn't that crazy. It's really good.
Oh yeah.
When's that from, Rob? Is that
This
like
is
early
1979.
70s? Oh, late 70s. Okay.
It's a
Nice.
live. It's a live performance, but it's
Yeah.
so good. This is really good.
So Rob, is it a good bang for the buck?
Yes. You know, Chad. If you were with me, Chad wouldn't like jokes with that like that.
Chad doesn't like any joke.
No,
I'm surprised how much
I'll
this.
text him about it.
So Chad did mention. Well, I don't want to say it, but this record surprisingly has gone up in price. This is a Concord album. So it's Harold and Blue Mitchell. It's a good lineup here.
Oh yeah,
Kurt
these are good.
Blakeslee and Albert Heath.
Yeah.
I found this in the bins at Amoeba. Very
Nice.
beautiful copy of this.
Oh yeah.
Wow. So that's Don Patterson on organ with Sonny Stitt and Booker Irvin.
Yeah, they
Mhm.
alternate. They're not on every song. I
Okay.
have a copy without a cover, so if someone wants it, I'll send it to them.
How do you
But,
like that? How do you like Don Patterson's style?
I like Don Patterson. It's not like a baseball game sounding organ. You know, it's good. I like him.
Who's on drums on that one?
This is Billy James.
Okay.
All right, I found this today. This is the one that isn't the easiest to find. The Virtuoso number 3.
Mhm.
That's really
What
good.
differs this one from the others? It's gatefold, and
Mhm.
it's originals on this one.
hmm
That's
He
cool.
usually does standards, but this is all originals.
It's a nice
That's
cover.
a really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cover shot.
Beautiful picture.
Yeah, I found this today. This is a Brandon special. He loves this record.
I love that record.
Yeah, I found it today. My local record store, their prices are way high, but it's their 40th anniversary and everything's 20% off. So they're still overpriced, but they're 20% less.
There's
But
another one that's not. What label is that one on?
It's on, the country rock album, label Capricorn.
Yeah, he has another one with almost the same band from either a year before or a year after that's really
Yeah.
good too.
Yeah, with the red cover.
Yeah, let me find it.
Who produced that?
Skip Drinkwater? No, I don't know who. I do not know.
No.
Oh wait,
That's-
hold on.
That's wild to be on like
Oh,
Marshall.
Skip Drinkwater.
That's weird to be with Marshall Tucker and Allman Brothers, and
Dude, this is jazz. That's unusual for this to be on that label.
that's what I just said.
That's what he said.
Right, but
I
Why
just
would someone-
literally fucking
Said,
timed
Rob.
that.
why would someone who
He's so,
produces
he's
that
so
shit
quick to
produce it?
attack you, Matthew.
What? Jesus
Well,
Christ!
why would you need
Struck
to even
down.
make that mention? I said it already. What are you doing here?
Hold on, Rob. I want to go
take
to.
it back. I take it back. This is also on Capricorn Records.
Oh yeah, no, that's
This
yeah,
one
it's-
is great too, although the one that Rob just showed rules. This one's still really good. It's almost the same band.
Rob, how much is that Eddie Henderson? Is that
So
I've seen it for
so
$40?
surprising. Here's a funny thing this store does. They write as is on a record they think is messed up. I cleaned it. It sounded perfect. The cover's a little rough. This thing is a $50 record.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
got it. They had it listed, which was unusual for the store, at $28 plus 20% off. So
nice.
it
Yeah.
was a good deal.
That's a great deal.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you like that record, get this one too.
I've streamed that one. This one's a better record to me.
Not by much, but yeah, it's better.
Okay,
Thanks,
this is a steeplechase on Inner City. This is killer. Anything Duke Jordan I love, but look at the lineup on this one.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
see.
NHOP and
Yeah. That's good. I think I was streaming that recently because I've been kind of getting into Duke Jordan's early stuff.
And yeah, that's it. Thank you. Oh wait,
Cool.
I did get this. Bam! I'm trying to. If I
Nice.
find OG Ramones, I'm picking it up.
Yeah, I need
And this
that
is
one still.
This is the one produced by Phil Spector. which they
Yes.
hated him. So
Everyone hated him.
yeah, I don't need your 2 cents, Mazzy.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Mhm.
Shut the
Hey,
fuck
Felipe.
up.
You might.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
What's going
Yeah.
on?
Just survived the storm to get back home tonight, and so I'm late.
You have a storm?
Yeah, it's kind of rains here sometimes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We,
You know,
we have
it
rain
was
like
pretty-
Every
we
afternoon.
don't have hurricanes.
Yeah, no, it was pretty bad. Yeah, the wind to me didn't look like a hurricane, but it was pretty strong. There's a lot of debris on the road, so it made everything slower, some crashes and everything.
Well,
All
I'm
that
glad you're
mess.
safe. We're glad you're safe, Felipe.
Thank you, thank
Oh
you.
yeah, and Felipe, you got a new car. How did it hold up in the rain?
It's fine. I mean, every day since I got a new car, it's like when you get new shoes. It just rains every day.
Yeah.
What kind of car did you get? Can I ask on the Jazz Bones? Can I ask?
I just got to sit there now. I had this SUV for some time, and it was like, dude, I'm no mom. I have no child seat. Let's go back to a sedan. Get out
What
of
kind
here.
of sedan? Can you share the sedan or no? You don't want to.
No, it's
Okay.
fine.
Got it. Okay.
It's all I'm gonna say is that a manual car. As a foreigner, I can parallel park and drive a stick shift.
So can
Nice.
I? I like that. I don't have one anymore, but yeah.
Yeah, that's like
You
I
can
love
be an
that.
American and drive a stick.
Yeah. So some can, yeah, but parallel park is another
Think
level.
about those San Francisco hills on a stick.
Yeah,
I did that all the time, man.
That was great. Yes,
You have to do
I had
the
this,
clutch and the brake and and you have someone
that
3
was
inches
great.
behind you.
Yeah, and always park at 45 degrees, right?
Yep, and curb your tires in.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, I had a stick shift when I was back there, but back here in Florida, I ended up with a automatic car. I hated it, so now I'm back on a
Shut
stick
up, Rob. Okay, just shut up. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Mazzy, get a look.
shift.
This
Yeah,
I just wanted to
nice.
say the sticker on this says "This album rules." I didn't put it on there.
It does.
And yes,
You know, to me, since a lot of the band on there are the Headhunters, it kind of has that sound to me.
yeah, and so it's the same band on Inside Out.
yeah.
And yes, I remember my cousin came to visit me in San Francisco one time, and I had a manual Toyota, and I parallel parked on a hill that was like this.
Yeah.
And he just went,
Mhm.
"How did you do that?" Like he was so, and
Yeah.
I was like, "You just have to."
You did.
Yeah,
you get
yeah.
used to- I had a Toyota SR5 that would lift back.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, same thing as São Paulo. São Paulo is like all hills, especially downtown. You have to like parallel park backing up on a hill and stuff like that,
You just have
And
to.
and the parking spaces, they are tight. They're exact. They're not. There's no room for, But it's cool. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I have a good time.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Mike, I think it's time for you to do your next poll. Who do you think is the best parallel parker on the hill?
I actually have to run.
It's me. It's
Yeah.
In
me.
a little bit. So I'm just going to show a couple things and get out of here. But
Sure,
I
sure.
will check
Yeah.
in. We had a poll, Felipe. So
Uh-huh.
I started a poll in the beginning because polls
Uh-huh.
are fun. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So the question is, what is your favorite of the following labels? And you could only have 4 answers to select from. So I just narrowed it to the 50s labels, 50s and early 60s
Okay.
labels.
I
So
was gonna say We Jazz, best label.
well, we should do next week or
They
if you
only
want.
have 4.
Was Capricorn on the list for Rob?
So it was Capricorn. It was. So
Hold on.
What?
Mazzy says, I don't drink a lot. He's sending me pictures. The dude is 2-fisting tequila right
That's
now.
not me. That's Jim. That's Jim.
See,
No,
Mike
Mazzy.
heard that I was leaving, so he jumped on the stream.
No, I didn't know you were leaving. No, that's a Jim. That's a Jim shot.
No,
I
Mike
know,
notes and tones. All right, look. The poll is, what's your favorite of following labels? Blue Note, Impulse, Prestige, Riverside. Obviously, Blue Note won 55%. Impulse came in number 2, which I thought was cool, 22%. Prestige number 12, Riverside. Prestige and Riverside are basically tied, 11, 12%.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just show a couple things here. Oh, and we also have 91 votes. We want to get it to 100 because Rob had a poll. Mazzy was involved in it. What was the question? It was
Is this,
around.
is this about the
do you-
is this about the
do you-
wall disco?
Yes.
Hold on. The poll was: do you want to just punch Jasper Mike in the face or push him down some stairs?
I had an official British compatriot, whatever you call it, on my discussion about that, and we confirmed that it's a disco song.
Okay. All right.
No, it
I'm
isn't.
glad we settled that. So quickly, I just have a couple records to show. This is an old 10-inch that I got in. So this is on a label called Nocturne, and they put out like 9 records in 1953 or 54, and it was co-owned by Harry Babison, who's a bass player, who got on my radar from the Dodo Marmarosa record, the trio record on Dial that I showed like last week. He plays bass, and it doesn't have the lineup on here. I think it's on.
So Mike, could you call Nocturne an obscure label?
It's a small independent 1950s jazz label, and it's just awesome because basically it's musician run. So Harry Babison plays cello and bass, and then Roy Hart plays drums. He co-founded it.
Mm-hmm.
What did Roy Hart go on to do after Nocturne? Pop quiz. I'm pretty sure, founded Pacific Jazz. So before he did Pacific Jazz, he was here on Nocturne. And
so
I think
why did it flop?
I don't think it flopped necessarily. I just think they were just kind of starting out, and I think he moved on and started a different label. And Harry Babison, I know I only know his 50 stuff, so I don't know what happened to him. But I got this for like $15. It's super clean. It's West Coast jazz. Like these are all like the guys that played with like Shorty Rogers. Jimmy Rowles is on piano. Larry Bunker's on vibes. So it's a cool like vibes record. I love it. It's
so
really
where is this label based on? California?
Yes, so Hollywood, California. So if you look here, it's the Jazz in Hollywood series they have. And I guess since it's Nocturne, the cover's blacked out.
Were those titles used for like soundtracks and stuff? Because it was quite common for West Coast labels to be doing soundtracks for, scores.
Well, it's possible, but this, like, they're doing, like, on this, they do. Actually, I'm not familiar with these tunes, but like Skylark is one that I know. They're kind of just like straight ahead West Coast style. I mean, you could use that in a movie, but it's not like it's a cinematic or anything like that. But it could be like
I think Dan, the Jazz Shepherd,
yes,
he's shown those.
Yes, he definitely has these for sure. I think he has them all.
Yeah.
So I have this one. I have another one coming in, and they're my two favorites. Right? I was streaming all their stuff. That's one to look out for. But it's it's 54, so it's got the old style to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next one. In the 70s, this is Zonin by Mary Lou Williams. They listed it as near mint, and it came in and played with some noise on the first track on both sides. So I was pretty disappointed. So they took off money, and I think ultimately this cost me like $30.
Oh, so, wow.
It's fine. Like, I don't know.
It's $100 record, man.
I know, but I feel like there's too much noise on it to enjoy. So that kind of sucks. So I'll probably upgrade this at some point. So, but anyway, it's a cool record, and it's on her. I think she self-published it. So, but to me, it has Mary Lou, she was like mentors to Bud Powell and Monk, and the way she plays on this is, it is like a little out at times, and there is electric bass on it. And I generally, don't listen to too much electric bass, but this sounded great. So I don't know. I was really happy with it. But there's that. And then Rob, since you showed a Pablo, I pulled this out to listen to, but I haven't listened to it yet, but I have it here. It's the Ellington Suite. Mm-hmm. So this is a Pablo where he does the Queen Suite, which he composed for, Queen Elizabeth II. He pressed one record of it for her and gifted it to her when he met her. And then that was the only copy until Norman Granz put it out here. So this is like a 70s reissue of that, and then they do a couple modern suites as well. So it's a historical document. I just I know it's cool. I'll revisit it. What's up, Felipe?
Okay, I just want to show, since you mentioned Mary Lou, this is a book that I read recently. Highly recommend if you want to have a deep dive on Mary Lou Williams. This is a great book I recommend. Morning Glory by Linda Dahl, who also wrote Stormy Weather, the Music and Lives of a Century of Jazz Women. Mary Lou here. This is, going to learn more about her. Actually, go deep. It's a pretty thick brick. I highly recommend this book. I really liked it. And another one I just got recently for my birthday. It was a biography of Gene Krupa, the master of drums. Gene Krupa and the music he gave the world. It's pretty cool, man. I mean, he was such a nice guy, and he's very related to Roy Eldridge. If you also read about Roy Eldridge or something, they worked together quite closely many times on and off, and he was super cool guy, great drummer, very influential with his bands and also with small groups. Gene Krupa, one of the great geniuses out there, right?
Very cool.
It's another book that I just read recently. Recommend reading. So yeah, these are the real deep dives.
I don't have much Gene Krupa, if any, but if I do, it's on the Norman Brand.
You're gonna have a lot of Gene Krupa on Verve. It's easy to find, and other labels before that. So just a couple things. Let's just take the dust out of the way.
Wait, hold on. Let me show one more thing, and then I have to jump.
Okay.
And I'll hand the reins over.
And then we can talk about other things.
Yes. So this came in recently from Japan. This is the complete Keynote collection. So Keynote, I'm gonna probably do a Substack article on it. I'm just reading about it, so I don't have everything memorized just yet. But it's an incredible history, and they only put out 78s in the 40s until this box, basically. So it has the original recordings of Lenny Tristano is on Keynote here. Red Rodney has stuff here. Ben Webster, Coleman Hawkins, Lester Young, all those guys are on Keynote. But then he does other guys I'm forgetting some of the names, but basically Sidemen, the producer would give lead sessions, and the fidelity is very good. I think they mostly record at WOR in New York, if I'm not mistaken. And anyway, I'm just getting into it. It's a 21 LP set. It's everything on Keynote.
Jesus.
And it's pretty incredible.
When was that released?
I think this was released in, where's the date? 86.
Wow.
86. So yeah, Coleman Hawkins, Roy Eldridge, Charlie Shavers, Pete Brown, who's pretty awesome. Red Norvo, Cozy Cole has lead sessions. Bud Freeman, Milt Hinton has lead sessions. Anyway, it's just incredible. So
how many discs is that?
21.
Yeah. So this is pretty much
those. Rob, pay attention.
So
Mazzy, shut up.
Yeah, this is pretty much those guys from bands, leading their own stuff on the side and recording things like this from the era.
That must have been the last hurrah vinyl.
It's like the transition period, right? The big bands are kind of starting to fade away, and small bands were showing up. So,
and it's
a very nice document. Yeah,
it also starts in 1944, so that's when the musician strike, which blocked for 18 months people recording in the 40s.
Yeah,
so that gets dropped, and the producer, who I need to learn more about him, but he's kind of an incredible person that I really haven't heard of in the jazz world, but he's done stuff outside of Keynote too.
There were two strikes, the major one in 42, and there was another one later in the 40s, but kind of milder, didn't impact much. But a lot of this transition period when the trios started showing up, especially the Art Tatum trio, which was the first trio, trying to commercialize him more because he only played solo.
Yeah,
and then you have the Lenny Tristano trio, the the Bud Powell trio. That's all the trio ideas start from there, but mostly they had guitarists playing. And then later you have the traditional trio, drum, bass, and piano.
Yes. So the producer's name is Harry Lim.
Yeah.
Does anybody know him?
Not to be confused with Harry Lime.
No, Lim.
Yeah.
You know
From
who Harry Lime was, right?
Actually,
from Asia Pacific. From the Asia Pacific.
I don't know much
So-
about him, but I heard he's an excellent parallel parker.
Mike, have you heard of Harry Lim? No. Okay.
A man of few
Sorry,
words.
no. I was watching.
He did do stuff after Keynote, but Keynote had like a tragic ending. They tried, basically their contract with Columbia for pressing at Columbia's plant in Pennsylvania ended. So they had no place to press their records. So they invested $250,000 into a pressing plant, and it failed. They couldn't press records there, and everything went bankrupt because of it. So pressing plants have been known to run companies into the ground. It's a tale as old as time. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. I'll see y'all
Get
later.
out. Okay, I just want to make a public service announcement. Oh, Mike left, but we decided that once a month we're going to do a OG stream. It's probably going to start next month in June. We're still about to define which date, so it's just going to be the three of us, okay, by request. So I'll let you guys know. We haven't decided on a fixed day yet, so I think it should be fun. People ask for that, so we're going to do like an OG
Good
stream,
idea.
and then we're just going to say whatever comes to our minds. No, no strings
riffraff?
attached. No, yeah, no, yeah. Feel free to say whatever. Welcome, Mike, for joining Notes and Tones. I will see you soon in New York in a couple weeks when I'm there for another Tashon Sorry concert.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Which I'm very excited about, and I hope this time, I can make it safely back home. Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. We're gonna go to the Jazz Gallery. We set up a table. It's gonna be myself and the two mics. As I'm not sure if Watkin Brown is gonna join us. I didn't get a confirmation yet. And
Felipe,
yeah,
are you going to WFMU in November also?
probably. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
probably. Yeah, but yeah. So I'm quite excited to go. It's gonna be a quartet, right, Mike?
It may be more than a quartet.
Yeah.
Because it's there's gonna be, I think Faye Victor is gonna do vocals.
Okay.
Because they may be what's the Max Roach album that Andy Bay was on?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I believe she's also performing. So,
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So
actually, I'm going Friday and Saturday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Because originally I booked before you guys said you all were coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I said I'm going Friday, and then I said, all right, you guys are coming up. I'll go Saturday also. So
What venue is it? What venue is it, Mike?
it's the Jazz Gallery.
It's kind of next to the
Flatiron
building, the area, right?
Yeah, it's in the what is it? I would say the Flatiron area.
Yeah.
It's the club I go to the most, and they have like these memberships, and it's like $12 or $20 a member, for a membership each month, and you get a little discount in seating and whatever, and they have like 9 like tables, and then the rest are like church pews, and then you get like for certain concerts you get like free seating or whatever, and then they do like live streams of concerts, and it's like a lot of up and coming musicians like Melissa Aldana performed it. She made it to like perform at the Vanguard, performed there. Emmanuel Wilkins, before he got to be who he was, playing at the Vanguard, performed there. All these they give they do like commissions. They give these guys, these young and up and coming musicians, commissions to perform there. So it's like, I don't know, I'd say it's my club of choice. I go there more often than any other jazz club, and
That's cool. Yeah.
it's just a flat admission fee, no cover or anything like that. That you can buy drinks and stuff like that, but they don't. There's no minimum or anything like that. It's just the music fee. That's it.
Mm-hmm. No,
I
that,
saw
yeah, that,
who was Tyshawn's
Story.
Tyshawn Story did a live recording there, and I was there
Mhm.
for that, and they issued that on CD, a three CD issue, and so it's a great club. I
yeah,
love it.
There's a
yeah.
club
I'm
like
ex-
that
I'm-
in
yeah.
here in Santa Cruz, and where you just pay your monthly fee or whatever, and then you get discounts on the tickets.
Mm.
That's where I saw Out of Into.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's pretty cool. I'm excited. I've never been to the Jazz Gallery. I've just been to the Vanguard a couple times,
Yeah.
so I'm pretty excited to
Yeah.
go there. And
And actually, there's one more thing about it. It was started by Roy Hargrove, was one of the three people that sort of started the
Mhm.
club. So that's another interesting fact about it.
That's cool.
And it also one more interesting fact
No,
about
go
it
ahead.
is that it has the piano there is Paul Desmond's piano.
Oh wow.
It was Paul Desmond's piano that was originally at what was my favorite club before it closed, Bradley's in New York.
Mhm.
Paul Desmond left his piano. He willed it to Bradley's, and then when Bradley's closed, Bradley's widow gave it to the Jazz Gallery.
Mhm.
And the Jazz Gallery, they actually have a sketch portrait of Bradley, the original owner of the club Bradley's, like at the piano. So,
Isn't there a funny story about that? Because Paul Desmond liked to play practical jokes on people, and so there was no way to get the piano out of the apartment or something like that, and so they
I'm
had to
sure-
cut a hole in the wall and take it out.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a
Yeah.
pretty funny story about it.
Hey, Felipe, is the Globe Jazz Club still in Miami?
I don't think so, Dave.
Okay.
I haven't been to Miami for jazz yet.
Okay.
just
Oh.
for other things. Yeah, I go to. There's a really nice venue we call Gramps. They have like really great alternative world people from all over the place playing there, which I find it pretty cool. They have a like a jazz kissa type of bar. It's called Dante's Hi-Fi, which is really cool as well. So yeah, it's getting better. There's some nice places to go here for sure.
Yeah, I can't remember who I saw at the Globe, but they played Saxophone Colossus cover to cover. Young guys. It was pretty incredible.
That's nice. That's
Yeah,
pretty,
yeah.
yeah. It's always good to. I actually when Jacob was here in January, he was playing at the shop, and he kind of got some local guys to play with him. The bass
Mhm.
player,
Yeah.
he ended up chatting with him because for some odd reason he speaks Portuguese,
Oh,
and
shit.
then he plays with a lot of local bands here. So there's live jazz going everywhere here. Yeah, every day there's something going on for sure. So now, thank you, Mike, for joining. Thank you guys for being here. Chris, unfortunately, has some family issues, cannot be here tonight. So I'm gonna flip a couple of things, and then I'm gonna talk to Mike, especially because we're gonna talk about Jerome's Analog Tone label newest release by Chris Cheek. I'm not sure how many of you guys are familiar with him. So Mike is really, more like compared to as an expert on Chris Cheek is going to talk about his music and what to expect from the new record, which has already been shipped. Whoever pre-ordered from Jerome, it has already been shipped, and I think, yeah, we're going to get there in a second. So, yeah, since you guys like to see this kind of thing, I just got this guy here a couple weeks ago. I haven't shown this yet. It's pretty cool. Yeah,
What pressing is that?
that's the second pressing.
Oh man.
But it's like minty. I had a classic records which I sold,
Mm-hmm.
This is on Vampiso. Vampiso is a Spanish label who specializes in releasing Latin music and also Brazilian music and some jazz stuff. So this is a really kind of hard to find early soul in Brazil. So Hildon, he was he was more into like a composer. And let me see if I can make myself bigger here. No. How do I, whatever. Well, whatever. Yeah. So Hildon was a very popular, important composer. He wrote a lot of songs. He was from the same generation as Tim Maia. Okay. So this record is really hard to find. It's called Na Rua, Na Chuva, Na Fazenda, which means on the street, on the rain, on the farm. So it's a kind of like a staple record on Vampiso. I bought this from Forced Exposure. Otherwise, you cannot want to import that from Spain. Costs kind of quite a bit of chunk money to import. Highly recommend this from Vampiso. Go on Forced Exposure. Get this record. It's absolutely fantastic. Another one that I just got locally, just for you guys to see. It's pretty cool. It's a original Riverside. It's Blue Mitchell here. These are pretty good. It's a sextet with Jimmy Heath, Curtis Fuller, Philly Joe Jones, and Wynton Kelly. Pretty good. I like this one. And it's pretty clean as well. Now, lastly, I want to talk about this one. I also got from Forced Exposure. It is not on We Jazz. It is on, let me see the label. Compost Records. It comes from Europe, but you can also buy it from Forced Exposure and maybe a Dusty Groove. It's from a band that I really like. I think Mike is also familiar with them. Of course, it's Web.
Yeah.
This German ensemble here, they release like absolutely fantastic records. They previous one on We Jazz, I believe. Killer. This one just came out this month, and this is sure one of the best jazz releases of the year. These guys are really, really amazing. Web from Germany. Don't sleep on it.
Just dig the cover art.
Yeah, this is good and current and good. Yeah, let's stop living in the past. And now, talking about the release, I'm going to put a link here, guys, to, where is that? Where is my link? Sorry, I'm going to put it here. It's from Analog Tone Factory. Jerome Sabah with the saxophone player, who we have interviewed twice in our channel about his 2 records and the release of his new label, Analog Tone Factory. He's actually releasing his first record. You can get the link here. He's actually releasing his first record that he's producing, not playing, on his own all analog label. And I think it's very important. I listened to the record on Files. So the record has been shipped already for whoever has pre-ordered. It should be coming at any moment. It's by saxophone player Chris Cheek, which we're going to talk about it now. And I'd like to ask Mike how he liked Chris Cheek, what his style and everything. But most important, guys, Jerome is doing everything on his own. Pressing the records, recording, producing, casting people to play, which I think is really awesome. And this record sounds killer. And he's also doing a 1-step version, which I'm getting a 1-step and a regular version. And I'm going to share impressions with you guys when I receive both copies. And his 1-step costs $70, which is like half the price of like the regular 1-steps you see all around. So there you go. I think it's a great bargain for great music, well produced, and by current great artists that we should support, and not only just buy reissues of stuff that we already know very well. So Mike, how do you like Chris Cheek? What's he about?
Chris Cheek is he's been recording. A lot of people in the vinyl community might not know him, but 2 of his recordings, besides the one that's being released by Jerome, I believe are on vinyl. But Chris Cheek has been around since the late 90s. He recorded first on, and most of his recordings on this label. It's called Fresh Sounds New Talent. It's out of Barcelona, and that this is his first, I believe, his first recording from '97. This is the first one I got. This is excellent. It has Kurt Rosenwinkel on guitar, Chris Higgins on bass, and Jordi Rossi on drums. And Jordi Rossi at that time was also part of Brad Meldau's quintet. And he did, this is another one that's on Fresh Sounds, New Talent, with Brad Meldau on piano, Kurt Rosenwinkel again on guitar, Matt Penman on bass, and Rossi on drums. And this is another one that's on Fresh Sounds, New Talent, with Meldau, Rossi, and Larry Grenadier on bass. These are all these are fabulous recordings. He did two. This one is also on Fresh Sounds, but it's with a different group. It's Ethan Iverson, Ben Street, and Rossi on drums. And this is a live recording done in Barcelona. There's a companion to this that I couldn't find on my shelf that I have. Also excellent. They're doing a lot of standards on this. It's really good. And then he's done two on Crisscross with the Canadian saxophone player Seamus Blake, with Ethan Iverson, Matt Penman, and Josten Ruckert on drums. And this is the other one that's on Crisscross also. But Chris Cheek, his sound, it has sort of an old school sound, but he's not bound to it. It's sort of sort of old school modern. Him and Mark, coming out of the 90s and the 2000s, are my favorite saxophone players, because they're not, they're into the tradition, but they're not bound to it. And it's just he just had a great number of excellent recordings. Like he plays standards really well. He does great interpretations of the standard recordings, but it's just not okay, I'm trying to emulate the past. That's what's really good about him. And the new recording I've listened to, it's available for streaming. I've listened to twice. And the new recording has Bill Frisell on guitar.
Yeah.
Has Rudy Royston on drums. Rudy Royston is a fabulous drummer. He's done a lot of work he's in Bill Frisell's group. He's done a lot of work with Dave Douglas, and he has his own releases. And Mazzy and Brandon would probably like this. He's a photographer. He's got some really nice photographs up. If you can get to his own website. So, and he's a really, really good drummer, excellent drummer. So I've listened to this twice, and it's excellent. It's a really, it's like I said, it's it has that old school flavor, but it's just not bound to tradition. It's a mixture of songs. You have some standards, you have some originals, and it's just one of the standards is On a Clear Day. And Royston's drumming is stands out. What's good about Frisell's playing in this, a lot of times when Frisell on a Frisell recording, you get a lot of, not only you get the effects, and it's sort of the effects are limited on the guitar on this one. Yeah. So you really get to hear Frisell at his core, and it's just excellent. And the sound, it was recorded by James Farber, who actually recorded, I want to say, two of the CDs that I showed. I think he recorded he recorded this one,
Mhm.
and he recorded, I believe, this one also. And the sound is excellent. I mean, especially with Frizzell and Cheek are up front, and you hear their sound, but Royston on the drums and his cymbal work, you
Mhm.
really hear that on the recording. It's he did a really great job on that.
Mhm.
So I I highly recommend. I bought the one step. I bought it immediately just to support Chris
For
Cheek,
sure.
one of my guys. And when I finally started hearing singles from it that they released online before they released the whole album today, I was thrilled how good it sounds. I mean, it's if you're one of those, if you're looking for something that's like the shock of the new, no, it's not for you. But if you're looking for something that's layered and it's subtle but not bound to tradition,
Mhm.
this is something you should check out.
That's great. That's good. That's good to get your feedback, Mike. And I think you made a good point. Yes, I mean, support Chris Cheek, support the label. Those people are doing by themselves, the whole analog process. And Jerome is um, he's pretty serious about what he does. So if they're actually putting out a one step, it might have an extra sauce in there. That's why we're gonna check as soon as we get. And after we do the comparison, so we are going to give away 2 records for the audience, as we did with the record store day. Because myself and Mike, we bought a one step. Jerome was very kind to send us a 3-step, but we bought the one step regardless because we wanted the one step. So the free copies that he's sending us, we're going to give away. Just give us a few days or a week or two, and we're going to organize that on the website as well. Okay. Yeah. So here it is. So Mazzy, what have you been up to?
Well, I know it's not really exciting, but I have.
Oh, is it a Rhino 70s
No, it's not.
boomer?
It's Kraft. It's the 2 new Kraft
Mhm.
OJCs, the Solo
Okay.
1957 Monk. I have a copy of this. Obviously, these are pretty nice records. This is
Mhm.
Kevin Gray, the OBC
Yeah.
Kraft series. But this one, I tell you, every time it seems like every couple months, Kraft puts more and more of these out, and every
Yeah.
time I say I need to sell my
box.
log production 45 box
Mhm.
because these sound as good without it's not the laziness of flipping, it's the flow of the music for me. And that box set sounds incredible, but I never reach for it, and I reach for these, and now they've done about half of them, I think, give or take, from the box, and they continue to do it. So it's, for me at least, it's making the Chad Casson box obsolete for me personally. There, people that love the 45s and all the power to them, I get it. But in terms of the flow of the artist, I think these are pretty great.
No,
I mean, that's part of the reason why I didn't buy the Chad Casson box, because I was like, it's Bill Evans. They're going to release all of those.
Exactly.
Makes sense,
I didn't buy it either. My friend Coffee Dave had a copy, the second, not the third press that's out now, but the second press, and he had it for like 3 years. And I walked to his house once. He has records everywhere on the floor and landing, and it was sealed. I said, "When did you get that?" He goes, "Oh, I got it about 3 years ago." And we ended up trading, so I got it as a trade, and it is fantastic. I will say that, but when you play these records, there is an easiness and a flow, especially compared to a lot of other people. I'm not I'm not a 45 fan. I've had plenty of them. But I just love. These are moody records. They're so great.
Yeah.
Did
you bring up that monk? Did you bring up that monk again?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I got that monk today, and I
think today's the release date.
Yeah, I cleaned it and played it, and it's excellent.
It is. And they do nice covers, and it's everything.
For sure.
I did a video last week. to me, my favorite thing and they're not even under the radar, but they don't seem to get as much love are the Bluesville series.
Mhm.
Those are friggin' excellent. Not every one is
Yeah.
for everybody,
Yeah.
but they're just so good. I mean,
Yeah.
aside from Rhino and the Tone Poets and stuff, Kraft is doing excellent. I mean, I could take a deep dive, and I haven't. I just got like a couple of their Latin music, and all that stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
They're the only ones really
yeah.
doing that on that level.
I think Kraft. I think it's probably the most constant label. They don't screw up. Simple.
Yeah, because that Monk I had only had on CD, and it's just, I mean, everything about it, you know, of course, I mean, just so I'm familiar with the playing, and I love it. It's, you know, it's basically solo except for the Coltrane Wilbur Ware cut on there.
And it has an early version around midnight, a great version around midnight. So
yeah. And you know, just his, you know, the Round Midnight and the performances of, you know, his Functional. That's the one that, you know, just listening to it today, just stood out. Monk's own tune, Functional. Yeah. It's just, it's like one of the best.
Oh, right.
One of the best his best interpretations of that tune. Is on there, and
obviously because they're Riverside, they're both Orrin Keep News productions, and you know, he just let the artist do it. I mean, he made them sound good, and he did a great job at it. Cantankerous old Jew. I used to, my girlfriend who worked at K-San in San Francisco did these Saturday and Sunday night 10 to 2 a.m. shows, a station called K-San. I think it was Sunday afternoon, right before her was Orrin Keep News. I mean, he was pretty old then, and his wife would come in and he'd do a jazz show on Sunday afternoons. And so I get to talk to him, and I didn't realize, I think I was 23 then, how important he was. I knew about him, but he'd talk about Bill Evans, and he would talk about Monk and all these artists. And just, I wish I had known more like I know now to ask him questions and talk about it. But an old kind of cantankerous Jew, basically another New Yorker. That's how I'm doing. I'm doing good. Otherwise, thank you.
Yeah, I might do that same thing with the Bill Evans box set. But it was like when it came out or when it got reissued, Kraft wasn't doing much.
No,
you know, and so nobody knew at the time.
Yeah, but it's like one of those things. I mean, I don't. For me, you know, because reissues come reissue. I just, you know, it's one of those things. You're like,
it will happen.
It's
right. Yeah, eventually. Yeah.
But how worth it is it? How worth it? You can't really sell it. I mean, you can sell it for, I don't know. You can, was it new $900? So you could sell it for maybe $6,000 if you're lucky. I might find someone to do a trade with at some point, you know, it's because it's a great set, and not to take away, but there are people that just like the 45, you know, like someone we know. I sold my Music Matters Jazz, all the 45s I had. They're great records. I don't have
a problem with 45s.
Me neither.
I didn't have it at the time, and when it came out, I was like, it's Bill Evans.
Yeah.
You know, if someone's gonna sell where they're gonna do a 33, it's gonna be Bill Evans.
Right? Exactly. Yeah.
And I had it on CD, so I could wait. That's, you know.
I have him on CD too. So
yeah. My thinking was, I already have the box. I'm not gonna buy stuff. To be honest, I haven't bought jazz records like a month or two.
I got a question for Mike. This is not really jazz, but you probably know the guitar player Mark Ribot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a new album out that on Bandcamp it's sold out. I think you can get it retail. His first album ever, his first solo album ever, just came out in the last. They made today even, and on Bandcamp it's sold out. So I actually just ordered an elusive disc. I haven't even heard it, but he interests me so much. He's done like rock and stuff with T-Bone Burnett and Sam Phillips and
everybody.
Everybody. But he's got an interesting sound. Oh, he is on the lounge. I have that album. I love that album.
Yeah, Mark Ribot is one of my favorite guitarists.
Yeah. I was playing that Illinois Jaquette. Actually, it just happens to be a double 45 of Chad's that has that version of the Harlem Nocturne on it that they do on that Lounge Lizards record. I love that record.
Oh, and he's on the Holy Trinity of Tom Waits. He's on Rain Dogs, Trombones, Frank Valdiers.
he's he's a great session musician. He's toured with a lot of people. He's played. He's got an interesting, very kind of. He's a very New York kind of Lower East Side.
Yeah,
guy
there's
with that.
one. Gosh, I'm gonna see it. I want to say it's called the Philadelphians, but I'm not sure that he's on. That's really good. But I know it's not on vinyl. But yeah, Mark Ribot, like
yeah. But I just saw something he posted, so I didn't even listen. I just ordered it. So
yeah, and he has a live at the Vanguard recording. That's
one more little sneak preview. This has been announced, so I'm allowed to show it. But it's
what's the new Rhino?
I can't tell you. I don't. I'm not getting them. I don't think I'm getting them, but I know what they are.
Or Dino.
I know what they are. I'm not getting them. For my personal taste, one of them I absolutely love. The other one was a mega album that it's not really my thing, but I don't know how the audience is going to react to it, but it's a solid title. But I can't, that's all I'll say at that. But I did get just today, ironically, the 3 reserves, and the only one I listened to so far is this, the Meters, and it's excellent. It's I mean, I know the music. I've had this on CD. I never had. This is one of the only.
There's a vinyl me please of this one.
Yeah, that's the one I have.
Yeah,
this is the only one I never had on vinyl. Ironically, and this is the first time where Arthur Neville joined the group. But this is a great record. I think.
Oh, it is. It is
1975.
amazing.
It didn't get a lot of love when it came out, but it's an excellent record, Warner Brothers. So, Chris Bellman cut it. If that matters to anybody, but
I think the vinyl please like Ryan Smith, right? Probably.
I think.
They sound amazing. They sound amazing.
That's an excellent album.
But Alan Toussaint produced it, but there's this one great track I forgot about, Middle of the Road, which is an instrumental track. And I tell you, Leo Nascentelli's guitar player is friggin' great. What a great thing.
Awesome.
So this is good. They also put out the Baby Huey and a mono version, which I have a stereo. I don't have a mono of the Otis Redding Blue record, which I love. So it's a good series, I think.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. I think they're doing this reserve series the most interesting titles compared to the main series.
Well, they're so far, except they didn't even announce it, but it is up on the site. They're doing something interesting. They're doing the Tim Buckley record. I'm a fan of Tim Buckley. He's someone that people either get or they don't get, and he's got like freak folk voice, kind of a jazzy folky thing going on. I love him. Of course, father of Jeff Buckley, who also died young. They both died young. But I'm looking forward to that. I think that comes out in June or July too.
Nice.
So
pretty good.
CJ has asked if it was Mark Ribot, the Young Philadelphians live in Tokyo, and that's the album.
I never heard that.
And Mazzy, do you have the Silent Movies one?
I do not.
Yeah, that's a really excellent one.
Mike. I love that you and I have finally bonded again.
Not for long.
Okay.
Come on, Mazzy.
Just Mike, please keep my trunk clean, okay?
Yeah.
Why don't you start dumping on Rob instead of me from now on? At least you and I have some similar tastes.
Yeah.
But I gotta go. I just wanted to hear Felipe and Mike talk about the Chris Cheek.
Yeah, that's cool stuff.
Yeah.
I gotta bail and go eat.
Sure.
Right, take it easy, man.
Thank you for coming, Brandon. Thank you. All right. And since Mazzy, you talk about jazz guitar players. There's a great guitar player album on pre-order on Nonsuch. I think she's still on Nonsuch, right, Mike?
Mary Halverson.
Yes, I'm gonna put the link here for About Ghosts, her record.
I like her. I mean, you have to be in the mood for her. Have you heard the new record?
Just the tracks that are available, not the full thing yet. But I mean, I think she delivers. She's an outstanding player, composer. her pieces are just amazing. I think it's a no-brainer to get anything from Mary
Yeah.
Halvorson these days.
It's something recently I listened to. It wasn't a Mary Halvorson album, but she was on it. That was just excellent. Damn, I can't remember it off the top of my head now. But yeah, anything. She's like one of those players that just like, if it's, if I see her name, I'm like, okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
She's innovative. You have to check it out because it's not gonna. It might surprise you. her work.
Yeah.
And I think speaking of female players, I think on the bass, Anna Butters also delivers like amazing records.
Mm-hmm.
And
Has anyone heard
her work
that,
with Jeff Parker as well. That stuff is just great, man.
What's the German woman, the sax player that's kind of out there? That
Muriel Grossman.
Yeah, have you heard her
Oh,
live
yeah.
album?
Oh yeah, I got a copy of her
Good?
live album. Oh yeah, absolutely. I have everything Muriel Grossman. I think she's also one of the great
she's pretty
forces of
incredible.
music.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Absolutely.
Find this.
She's just great, and I think she signed with JMI. At some point, she will record a record for JMI.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would check that out.
Yeah. I mean, I got some copies from JMI from the Max Girl Trio. The other one they just put out as well is just incredible. The one they pressed with Chad, which I'm quite happy about, because one day, I was just chatting with Jay and he's like, man, I like to do QRP, and I sent an email to both Chad and him, and Chad just did the whole thing. I was pretty happy that kind of worked. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, the Max Grill, Mike has talked about that, is really excellent.
Yeah,
and there's been a lot of trio recordings that came out this year. There's the Max Grill, there's the John Patitucci with Brian Blade, and
yes, that is absolutely great.
And Chris Potter, and then there's one that's CD only, but it's excellent. It's Carl Allen, the drummer, Chris Potter. Gosh, I can't remember the basses off the top of my head, but this is Carl Allen's first record as a leader in like 20 years. This is like, you get that old school like flavor, Sonny Rollins trio recording with this one, and it's really good. It's on Corey Ween's label.
It's on. Oh my gosh!
On Cellar.
Cellar Music. Yes, and Cellar puts out almost like five records a week. It's amazing how many records they put out.
Yeah, I did, actually. I bought not too long ago. I bought a bunch of stuff from Cellar. I got this album by this trumpet player who passed away not too long ago, Jim Rotundi. It's really beautiful. It's basically a big band album, and it's really beautiful. And it may have been his last release before he passed away, but he wasn't that, he was in like late, maybe 50s or 60s before he passed away. That was also on Corey's label. I picked up a bunch of stuff from on his label, because he had a skill.
Have you guys talked or listened to the Corey Weeds Kevin record?
Yes. I have a test pressing. It's probably Kevin's best record on the label. I think
really
get it. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I have to. I haven't ordered it yet, but I'm gonna order it, not only because it's the label and stuff like that, but just the guy on piano is Dave Hazeltine. Who I think I have about 6 or 7 as a leader Dave Hazeltine recordings. So I like his work. And then he also played in an ensemble that was called One for All, which the guy Jim Rotundi was also in, with Eric Alexander and all those guys. So he's like, so just love to support his work also.
Yeah, no, yeah, that record is really good, man. It's impressive how good it sounds, but how the music is impressive. I think they should be shipping soon. I mean, it got delayed. I think mostly
Well,
printing of the jackets.
Mike Ingroove showed a stack of them on Thursday or Friday, so he's got them. So, and he's usually he's distributing it, and he's really quick in shipping. So
yeah, they're fresh.
I have not pre-ordered yet. I need to, but I will.
Yeah, because I have been talking to Kevin about it, back and forth, and I think it was 3 weeks ago, and it was on a Friday. He texted me, "Oh man, finally the covers are ready. They're putting the records together." So it makes sense that they're ready to ship now.
The other one is there's a connection to jazz, but it's light French pop. This, Stereo Lab.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I love this.
Oh,
I've only
they're
heard it
great.
once during cocktail hour here at Shea Maslov.
They're touring. I have
they don't
tickets
break
for them.
any new ground. The thing about Stereo Lab, you could pull out. I have all their records. I think 7, 8 records, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You could pull anyone out. They're interchangeable.
Yeah.
But if you're in that mood, that's a good thing. There's a
it
light
is.
French electric pop.
They did really great there. It's a great
You like
record.
them?
Oh yeah, I mean, Dots and Loops is one of my favorite records of all time.
Right. And I saw them 2 years ago when they toured, or 2-3 years
ago. They're touring again. They're going to be
fun,
down here.
They're light and they're all the French.
But their lyrics, they're heavily engaged. Here, their lyrics are heavily political.
But they're in French. How am I to know what they're saying?
Qu'est-ce que c'est, parler français?
Soufflé de goule omelette, qu'est-ce que c'est à fromage? So I don't know.
Yeah, but it's a really good record, yes.
But I'm enjoying it. It's getting a lot of, they haven't done a record, in 15, 16 years or something?
Yeah, but that's the spirit. I mean, they made this such catchy hook, these melodies.
If you don't have a Stereo Lab record, grab one. Yeah, Dots and Loops is probably the one to get.
Yeah.
And that series they put out about, 5, 6, 7 years ago with 3 records, extra stuff, they were cheap.
Yeah.
For what they were. I mean, there are 3 records and they were $40, $45, something like that. And a beautiful package and inserts. And they did it themselves, I believe.
That stuff is amazing. And another release from today, I spoke with Mike earlier about it, is the new Ganavia record.
Pardon me?
It's the new Ganavia record.
I don't know that.
Ganavia is she's a Indian singer. She's based here. She's a multi-instrumentalist. She's a professor. She's lots of stuff. She recorded with many other people, including some Blue Note artists, and then she has her own solo work, and it's just one of the most beautiful voices.
What does she play?
She sings.
She sings.
Yes. Yeah. It's one of the most beautiful voices you've ever listened to.
In Hindu or in what, or English?
It's
or a mix.
Yeah, I mean, I would say English and just vocal. It's a vocal performance.
Yes.
I don't know. CJ's probably if he's still in the chat. We saw her at Big Ears with Charles Lloyd.
I love Indian music, and I mean,
she was excellent. It was a tribute performance, and it was so emotional. Wow. And then we saw her a couple of days later with Emmanuel Wilkins doing his
she's in Emmanuel's record from last year.
And that was also, on another level. She also performed, I think, with her own group, which I did not see at Big Ears. But I haven't listened to the one that was released today, but there was one that I wasn't aware of that was released in late 2024.
Yeah, she put out a record last year also.
Yeah, which is she basically does the whole Coltrane Love Supreme suite with some other stuff, which is freaking amazing. I listened to that early today. I was blown away, and I ordered it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I ordered it from I ordered it from what is it? HHV, because it was
HMV?
No. Not HMV.
HHV, yes.
Yeah. because it was cheaper than ordering stuff on Amazon, which was like asking for like $40.
Really, like
Yeah.
Nusrat
Yeah.
Fateh Ali Khan. I like
Yeah.
those
Yeah,
records.
yeah.
Did you
So-
see Anushka Shankar at Big Ears?
No, I didn't. I
I
didn't.
saw her recently here, and she was fabulous. It was,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, Big Ears is like so overwhelming.
Right, right.
You know, you just can't. You just
Yeah.
can't do. You know.
Hey, Mike, you guys were talking about trios. You
Mhm.
know the Paul Gialorenzo trio, right? Out of Chicago.
No, no, no.
Okay,
no.
well, we have a very small little venue near my house called Petra's, and they have jazz in there from time to time. And they had a hell of a lineup the other night. And so I went to see them because Ghost Trees opened,
Mhm.
and they actually played probably the best I've seen them play, and I've seen them a million times. It was I recorded some of the show, so I posted on my channel. But yeah, they opened for the Paul Gialorenzo trio, and then there was a Brazilian group after that a friend of mine plays bass in.
Oh, I
But yeah, and this is the record that I got at the show. And it's Joshua Abrams on double bass
Oh,
and
cool.
Mikhail Patrick Avery on drums from National Information Society
Oh.
with Paul Gialorenzo on piano. His style is very interesting.
Yeah.
It can be free jazz at times. It can be avant at times,
Mhm.
and then it can be Louisiana like
No,
style
that
at
sounds
times.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting mix. He was an awful nice guy. And he gave me a couple CDs when I bought the record. They're on Delmark,
Cool.
and this one's from 2017.
Mhm.
And they had a different bass player that night because Joshua Abrams couldn't make this gig. He had prior engagement, I think.
Mhm.
But the drummer, I got to talk to him for a while. He's into electronics. He's building a guitar pedal for Tortoise, and he's going to actually market it and sell it. Which is really cool. I'm going to try to get that from him. But yeah, really good group.
Oh, all right, cool.
That's nice.
You mentioned National Information. I don't know if it was released today or I don't know.
With the Bitch and Bajas.
Yeah, I don't know if Dom had talked about it.
Oh yeah, he did a video. There's a video up, man.
Yeah,
he's ahead
Is
of
there
his
a new bitch in Bajas today?
Yeah, with Natural Information Society.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I was at the store. I didn't look for that.
Yeah,
I think it's already out.
I realized I have seen her because she did it last year at KEXP thing, and I have seen this.
Oh, okay.
I didn't make the connection, but
yeah.
I don't know her music really well. Except
I love KEXP, man.
Oh,
They
yeah,
do
she's
the
great.
best stuff.
Well, they have a great studio there at the
Yeah.
But we were talking about Mary Howerson, and then I was talking about the one. This is the recent one that I got with Sylvie Cavassier. That's really good. It's just guitar and piano.
That's
and this
awesome.
is really good.
She plays free jazz guitar on that, or
Yeah, but this is I think people that would be afraid of free jazz would this would be for them.
not Derek Bailey, right?
Yeah, this would be for them. And then I was talking about the guy Jim Rotundi that's on Cellar Jazz. This is
Nice. Oh, beautiful cover.
Yeah. And he has one of my favorite piano players, this guy, Danny Grissett, who has an album coming out, I think, on the 30th. He doesn't have anything on vinyl, but he's just a beautiful pianist. He's been around forever.
That's nice.
But he's done stuff on Crisscross. Was it Savant? That label. That's the new recording is coming out on Savant. And he's a beautiful a pianist. And also on trombone is on this recording is Steve Davis. Who has a number of recordings out.
Yeah.
He's been around forever. He studied under Jackie McLean at the Hart School. So
yeah, supposedly Billy's got one of his records put aside for me.
Oh, yeah.
And I forgot to ask him about it at WFMU. Oh
Yeah.
well.
It's nice.
I don't know. It's about a couple of months ago. I was at Billy's because my friend from Miami came up, and we went to Human Head, and then we walked over. Did we walk over to Billy's, or I don't think we walked over to. Yeah, we did walk over to Billy's.
He's not too far from there, is he?
Yeah, we walked
Yeah.
over. We walked over to Billy's. And he was actually, and he's not actually not a vinyl person, but he was sort of impressed with the Billy stuff. And he was at least oh, at least the records are clean.
That helps.
Oh, this is salon, man. You know?
Yeah.
Can I show a few records I picked up
Heck yeah.
recently?
Yes. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Let's make a final round. So I'm gonna call it a day.
Yeah, I maybe one record.
Go ahead, Carlos.
Yeah. So I picked up this Sholto. Picked up from Mr. Bongo because it was a little expensive on Bandcamp, but yeah, it's along the lines of David Axelrod, kind of like library music, but more jazz leaning.
Cool, man.
Nice.
Then also Finn Reese, Dawn as a Melody.
Looks beautiful.
Yeah, this is a great, contemporary jazz. Modern
Looks like the
jazz.
Monterey Peninsula.
Yeah.
Right, yes, exactly, Maz. Yeah.
Big Sur.
Yeah, I think you guys would dig this one.
Carmel.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ronnie Laws.
Oh, I remember that record.
Oh
It was
yeah.
a classic.
Yeah, so pick that up.
Nice one.
Very funky.
Who's releasing that?
Oh, this is original
Okay.
or 82 pressing. Sorry, not
Nice.
Yeah, that's it.
That's awesome. What about you, Dave?
The only record jazz-wise I got this week, I've gotten a lot of different stuff, but this was sitting in the bins used at Lunchbox, and it's speaking of Axelrod, it's the auction.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, first time I've ever found a copy, and the cover is fairly shot, but the record is minty. It's on Decca.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
So it's original copy.
I had
Yeah, there's
never
a lot
seen
of
this one.
paper loss, so it was a very cheap price because these Axelrod originals go for
Yeah.
Wow.
So this was a fraction of the cost because it was I can show you it's like there's a lot of paper loss there
Mhm.
on the
Every time I
inside.
see that label, I think of my parents' copy of Bing Crosby's Christmas album.
Oh, because of the Decca.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that label, like 1960, they had that record. I remember.
Yeah. I was surprised it was on that label because I don't think any of his others are.
No,
But yeah, this is funky,
he worked with Warner's for a while.
soulful, big group.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What year is that
from the jazz
record?
funk. Oh, 70 something.
Okay,
I can't remember.
I've never seen that record.
72. Yeah, 72.
That's
Right
cool.
before he put out Heavy Axe,
Okay.
which I really
Mhm.
dig. I have a
Maybe
copy
they-
of that too.
Maybe they played that for my high school graduation.
Mhm.
72.
Yeah, 72. A year before I was thought of.
I was graduating high school that February.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's
heavy-
that's the only jazz I've picked up. I got a lot of interesting 7-inch records lately. I found what did I find today? A Slim Harpo 7-inch
Nice.
Nice,
Wow.
nice.
on an old blues label. Excello,
Not
I
the
think.
hit, not to scratch my back, not the hit.
And I found a Prince Buster ska 7-inch
Oh, wow.
from the
That's
60s.
nice.
Very cool.
Yeah, this one shop we have in Charlotte, Premium Sound, he
Mhm.
bought a absolutely massive 7-inch collection. I mean, he sold a bunch of it, and there's still probably 20 boxes to go through.
Oh wow.
It's absolutely bonkers, and he's starting to kind of separate some of it out to where he's got like, okay, this is hardcore punk, here's some rock, here's some country, here's some soul 45s, blues. He's trying to get them
That's nice.
separated finally, so you can kind of go by genre now.
Mhm.
But this is the one box I was looking in was still kind of like a grab bag. there's all kinds of stuff in there. Stuff that I gotta have to remember to listen to when I get home, so I can go back and see if I want to get them or not. But most of them are a buck.
Wow.
Both of them, I think the ones I got today cost me $5 total. So
That's cool.
and it's just stuff you don't see all the time. And then Dylan's got all the VOA 45s.
Yeah.
Up there's like 80,000 of them or something. And I found one. I bought one of his. It's Les Paul. It's an old Les Paul from the 50s, 7-inch, and it's got 2 good songs on it and 2 that were kind of wankers.
So an EP?
It's like Les Paul and Mary Ford.
Yeah, an EP probably then.
I mean, 2 of them were. You could tell he was really experimenting with some guitar sounds and different styles of playing. As early as I think that's from 1953, or it's old, and it's really the two songs I like are really good. But yeah, just a bunch of different things.
That's cool.
Yeah, I haven't had it. I had good luck on one of the jazz Pauls from Noble when I went up there a couple times ago. With the guys, there was a lot of jazz in the bins from the VOA collection. It's kind of overwhelming.
Yeah.
He took me in the back. He's got a bunch of boxes of library records that just different.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but these aren't your typical library labels. It's kind of one whole run is from Japan. But they're classical. So and then there's a whole other run of, I forget what it is. It's crazy stuff. But I told him to reach out to Michael Poetry on Plastic on those classical ones.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know how to get rid of them. So, I mean, that's not even something you can put on Whatnot. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Well, there you go. Lights out.
I don't know what happened here.
Lights out. Well, it's been a pleasure, everyone.
I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, there we go. I don't know what happened.
I just want to show a couple of things. This is Myra Melford's most recent recording. It's called Splash. It's a trio. It's only available on CD.
Damn.
But it is freaking excellent.
I need to get that. Her last album,
6
years ago, whatever, 5 years ago?
Yeah, and she's been doing a lot of stuff. She's been doing a lot of stuff. It's been mostly on CD. She's
but that last LP was fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's a trio with the bass player Michael Formanek and Ches Smith on drums. This is one of my favorite recordings of the year so far. It is excellent. And then was it last?
She's incredible, and she teaches at UC Berkeley, and she's amazing.
And then last year she did this. This is a group that she has with the drummer Allison Miller, the Lux Quartet. That's this is a CD actually on CD only on Ninja. That's really also good. They're just all. I mean, she's just still doing really great work. She had posted on her social media a couple of months ago that she got the rights to some of her older recordings back. And she said, she asked, which one should I put on vinyl? Should I release on vinyl? So I threw in my suggestion.
What's the name of that album? The new one?
Splash. And she's been, it's sort of inspired by the artwork of Cy Wombly. So that's
her turned me on to that vinyl record is Dave's buddy Teddy, because that was one of his favorites, and I bought that record, and that was one of my favorite albums. I think it was 2019 or 18, whatever year it was. It was so friggin' good. Egress, is it Egress? That's
Snowy Egret.
Snowy Egret. I just love that record. Okay, so I don't see this record on her.
Yeah, wasn't it his record of the year or something?
Yeah, it was mine too. Because of him, I just ordered it.
Yeah. Now, Mazzy,
Yes.
Teddy's daughter, by the way, is a world-class opera singer. Ruby
Okay.
Dibble. Check out her channel on YouTube.
Because I'm so into opera, is that why you're telling me?
No,
this?
but I'm telling you, she's been performing in New York, and Teddy was just in New York City at the Lincoln
Okay.
Theater.
The closest opera
Or
I
the,
get,
or with the Lincoln, whatever it is.
Yeah.
the closest opera I get over the
Lincoln
last
Center, whatever.
decade is oh shit. Hold on, let me just. This is a really cool ass one.
All right, Mazzy, last shot.
Okay, last one. This is my last one. This is not, but Coco Rossi.
Oh,
They have two sisters. One studied opera singing. They grew up separately. One grew up in France. One grew up in the States. And they do a little bit of a freak folk, hip hop, electronic, freak folk. And I saw them several times at the Great American Music Hall in San Francisco. And they're so friggin' great.
How did you have
And-
that record right there, ready to grab?
Well,
was
these
like
are my
right
new
there.
releases. This just came
Oh,
out.
okay, gotcha.
This I had no idea they were still making records, and I
Yeah.
saw this at one of my locals
Oh.
last week, and I just grabbed it. I have all their records or CDs, whatever,
Mhm.
you know. And they did a thing with remember what's the guy that trans? He's Anthony and the Johnsons. Remember Anthony?
oh yeah, this is awesome. I love them.
What a voice, right?
Yeah.
But he collaborated, or he at the time collaborated with them. But it's so good. Anyway, that's my opera connection. That's about like you're telling me, Maz, I should listen to opera singer. No offense to Teddy's daughter, but Puccini's Turandot and all that good stuff. Wagner's, all that. Anyway, okay, that's
all right.
I'm finished.
Anybody else wrap up?
Thank you for hosting us, Felipe.
Yeah,
No, thank you. Yeah.
What are the Knicks doing, Mike?
It's kind of close, but I think the Pacers are ahead.
Yeah, the overrated Knicks are choking like dogs.
Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah, they're 9
Man,
points
the
behind.
ghost of Reggie Miller.
They're 9 points behind, but let's see what's gonna happen. Yeah. Okay.
See you all
Thank you so
later.
much, guys, for coming.
Bye,
So
guys.
yeah, wait. Next month there's gonna be an OG Friday stream every month.
Right.
Start next month.
All right.
Okay.
All right, take it easy.
Thank you
guys.
so much, guys. Have a good
All right,
night.
peace.
Thank you.